Hi, Mary. How are you?
Hi Nathan, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So I think Shane and I had a little mix up this morning. So
Oh,
I don't think we're going to have too many people. Um, Originally, I think we'd move the meeting to get around the legal track one that was just on. And then I think he'd set out a update this morning, moving it back to 9 or at the same time as the legal track. And so I think,
oh,
yeah. So anyway, um, yeah, a little bit of that going on, but I'm
okay.
sitting here working on this anyway. So if you want to sit and work through it, happy to do that. It's totally up to you. So
This is the supplier education thing.
well, yeah, we I think I'm trying to get through the end of it. I saw you added a fair number of comments and appreciate
Yeah.
those. Um, so I think I could what I was going to suggest was I think I have a lot of comments to get through on these, and I think I could do that. I could also go through at least get a start on the next thing that Shane had suggested is the training slides, which are kind of due for a refresh. So um, I could go either way. So
Okay. Well, um, yeah, either way is, so was there a meeting with anybody from for this group? Was there an earlier meeting?
not that I know, not that I know of. I had seen the updated exchange at about 9:15. And so, or 9:15 Pacific, I'm sorry, I don't know, not sure which time zone you're in. But um, so I joined and no one was there. And so then I joined the legal meeting for a little while. But
Okay.
yeah. So can you remind me what time zone you're in?
I'm in Chicago, Central.
Central. Okay. Okay.
So
Um,
it's noon.
yeah. But by the way, I think one thing Shane had asked is if we wouldn't mind taking one of our meetings and moving it to a time zone that works for the Asia group. And so I think we're gonna have two different meetings, kind of like the along the cadence of the main meeting. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah, so what there's never a good time for me to meet with Asia. When
No,
I have to do Asian meetings, somebody has to stay up late or get up early.
yeah, exactly. I think for Pacific time zone it's not too bad. I think it's like 5 or 6 p.m. will work. For those folks, but I know adding a couple more hours for Central Time is makes it pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how Shane does it. He manages the worldwide meetings from Japan. So
Well, he has to be get like staying up all hours.
he really is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's more dedicated than me.
Yeah, same here. Um, yeah. Hey, can I ask like how did you get into open source, by the way? Um I was
Okay.
like it's such a niche area. So
Um, well, when I first started here with Continental, my boss said to me the first day, we have some open source software and there's some kind of a mess going on. Please go figure out what's going on and fix it. I sort of got pushed in the deep end there. We do use a fair amount of open source. Some of our products are using Linux kernel stuff, and there's just a lot of different things, a lot of different areas where they're using different kinds of open source and different packages. So that's how I got into it. Um, and once I started getting into it, it was a very new area for Continental. Um, this was many years ago now. So um, I just kind of stayed in here. It was something interesting. My group that I was in, we were doing quite a bit, and I started to realize there wasn't really much going on in the rest of the organization for open source compliance, and started pulling a group together, and it's just like one thing after another since then.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how about you? Well, you work
No,
for Qualcomm, right?
I worked for Qualcomm, but I was in-house where I was a in private practice in Minneapolis before this.
Oh, okay.
So I was an engineer for a short period out of college, and then I went to law school, and then when I got my first job, I was at a large firm, and they told me there's this one attorney who's working about 3,000 hours a year, and he's helping Microsoft with open source issues, right? And that's like, and he really needs someone to help him. And so because I had some engineering background, I jumped into that, and um, that was most of what I did for the next like 8 years there.
Oh,
And then yeah, and so then I wanted to get away from the cold, among other things. And so I wanted to be in house as well. So I found a job here at Qualcomm. So
okay.
yeah.
Well, I've had various associations with Qualcomm over the years. Right now we use Qualcomm chips for our telematics units.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to work for Motorola, and so we were a little bit competing with Qualcomm in the mobile, the cellular modem space, as Qualcomm was kind of building its portfolio and customer base there.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then I worked for Intel again, competing with Qualcomm.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No, I mean, so
yeah,
many people, yeah, we kind of go in the same kind of group of companies, right?
yeah.
So yeah, well, who knows? You might end up at Qualcomm. Yes, we'll see. But we're you'll make the whole circle of all the chip companies. So
Yeah, well, I'd want to move to California. So
yeah.
my sister goes out to San Diego to visit. She loves it out there.
Okay.
But
Yeah, no, you used to all the time, and well, when I was younger, my parents would come out here. My dad was in the Navy, and so I always had good memories of this place, and then so I do enjoy being here.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our attorneys that we rely on quite a bit, and he seems to like to do open source. He is also like you, kind of co-educated in legal and in computer science. So he has a master's in computer science and a law degree. So he's very good, and he understands we don't have to try to you know explain to some legal guy how software works or what the different things we do. He understands it all, so that's really nice.
Yeah, at times that can help a lot. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you want to I suppose we could, there isn't that much left. I think it was basically about here. Um, I think starting at the roles. I don't know if, do you want it to just take a quick pass, and I'll just make sure I have your notes here, and then I could take it from there.
Sure.
Okay. By the way, I liked your suggestion here. I basically incorporated what you said. The only thing I suggested was just maintain the use of the supplier term instead of the third party term. To just try to keep the, I think without sometimes the diagram here, maybe there's naming too many people is hard, but does that look okay? Or do you think the third party, am I missing a point here by omitting the third party note here?
Let me read it just a sec.
Yeah. Right. Tried to
Yeah.
go active voice with the second sentence too.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks okay. That looks fine.
Okay. I think if I click agree, oh, I'll click check mark there. That was okay.
Let's see. Yeah, what I'm trying to see. Okay,
Yeah.
library.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess like reading it another time. Sometimes you go back and you read it a little differently. Yeah. Yeah, open source used and how linked or something like that.
Yeah, or links. In products, something like that. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, but the linkage itself is something that's important as well, right? If it's static or dynamic linkage. But I'm trying to figure out how to express it in a way that somebody who is not a software expert would understand that.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe how it's used. Yeah.
Links to in products. Does that sound okay? And then we'll give them. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think that's fine. But I would take out that to after linked because that'll be confusing.
Okay.
For people who don't know about linking.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, there's all that. Like this seems a little redundant. Could I say like this? What license terms apply? This one I wonder if is going overboard a bit, but modifications. I think some licenses want you to list how you change things, right?
Yeah.
How aware modifications are made, right? Is that okay?
Or yeah.
might suggest something like this is kind of wordy here. Can we dive into a recommendation here? Like, um, the best practice is to create and manage a list of the above information.
Yeah.
Okay. And for now, let's see. Can I just delete this? I think I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they go to source code control management. Manage a source of, I don't want to say database, but create way. Sorry, I'm just gonna manage the above information. Example. Um, I'm just gonna, I'm sure I can write it better, but I'll just do what I was thinking. Past. And then I'll go into, for example.
Okay. Okay. That's good because that GPL sentence was sort of kind of came out of the blue there.
Yeah. Okay. We're good there. Then I will, I'm gonna accept this one.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, software procurement personnel. Let's receive the information about.
I wouldn't, I think my point here was using, like saying an SDK, it's really specific.
Okay.
And somebody reading this may not know what an SDK is.
Okay.
I just say, leave it general, like
Yeah.
the software provided by, yeah.
Could I say such as, and I liked your driver example, such as an SDK or driver. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, but yeah, you think are we going to define SDK someplace
Um, yeah, let's see.
or just spell it out?
Oops. Okay. Sometimes it's good to give people keywords, I think.
Yeah.
Um, it doesn't really say what their responsibility is so much, right? Can we just say this, information received by procurement should be connected to the overall compliance program or something?
Maybe just say ensure that open source experts are included in decisions to procure.
Okay, yep. Okay, what are we calling them? Maybe we can call them staff in the
or experts.
Yeah. Let's see.
Maybe just say procurement personnel should know when to bring in open source staff to analyze different kinds of deliverables
the
company receives.
Or can I say address maybe?
Sure.
Okay. All right, I think I like that.
Okay.
All right, sales personnel. Written.
Yeah.
Customers.
Yeah, so this is something we deal with on a regular basis.
Okay. But maybe I will. I'm just going to, for a translator's sake, can I use the open source staff maybe phrase? Is that for consistency there?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no, we don't, excuse me. My group, the open source group, the compliance group, we don't have direct connection to the sales personnel. So
Okay.
that comes to us through the through the development
Okay.
people.
Okay. That's
Okay,
good.
that's fine.
Related to these. Okay. Yeah. Maybe can I just say should understand? And then
Well, they don't have to understand the requirements.
okay.
They just have to make sure the right people are looking at them.
Okay. Um collect.
They're probably actually not going to understand them.
Okay.
because-
Well, that is a point. Can we I was just looking for active verb there. Is that one sound okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, collaboration. I suggest something here. I think along the lines too of should open source components used by its law. And then your point about the supplier one, I think is missing. Can I add that to the bullets here? Like
Mhm.
like, it's required from source information. I think I'm gonna get rid of this. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that too. I agree with you. Yeah. And then or should be. Is that okay if can I cut that down?
Yeah.
Okay, can the inclusion of open source software is used by downstream recipients?
Yeah. Upstream, downstream, and open source is kind of new, and I'm not quite sure I personally understand it.
I don't know if it's just a term my company uses, but since we're in chain, so we're always kind of describing what's coming in versus going out. And then sometimes people confuse it with the upstream open source project. And so they're kind of imprecise. What if we said like what information is needed to provide to downstream customers?
I
Right?
wouldn't use downstream because then
Yeah.
First you have to understand what the stream is.
Okay.
I'll just say by customers of the supplied software.
Okay.
Oh, but that bullet is really making sure you don't cause a problem.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
maybe just leave it like the fourth bullet is, can inclusion of the open source cause a problem to
Okay.
the recipient of the supplied software?
How about, could I just say customers in this area?
Yeah.
Is that okay? And then the supplied software term, I know it's in our spec too, but could I say like just more narratively, like what open source information must be provided to customers?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, I like that. Let's see. I'm gonna fix the grammar a little bit here. How's that look?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna suggest why. Does it look okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Yeah, this one I think was a little tricky because I think there's a mix of both best practices and maybe baseline legal requirements.
Yeah.
Um, like I think the common feeling among open source or the open chain community is that you should be delivering an SBOM with your releases, although I don't think it's strictly required by the licenses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's not. And if you listen to Helio's presentation in the Open Source North America Summit, he basically said,
go ahead.
he basically said, everybody's got their own format for the SBOM, and we don't really know what we're using it for except to try to monitor vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So, that it seems like that area is a little bit of a kind of a mess right now.
But I mean, at least from my point of view, it seems to be boiling down to like SPDX or a couple others, right? Like maybe DX. And yeah, like it also seems like the stakeholder for getting the executives to pay for open source, efforts is usually a security problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even what we're seeing is that OEMs who are our customers will have different, they'll say, yeah, we want SPDX version 1.2 plus, blah, 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 blah. So they're all coming with their own formats, kind of maybe variations of regular SPDX, but it doesn't always seem to be as simple as just give it to me in this SPDX version.
Yeah, and I think there's even like specifics about what fields to fill in or how you fill them in, for some of those.
Yeah, and then even different. I'm not a compliance engineer, so I don't do that on a daily basis. But some of the scan tools will take the same software and produce different results.
Yep. Yeah, and the whole, some of the approaches are more automated and some are more like rely on people filling in information. So
yeah.
All right, so required people must know it's information. Maybe can I get rid of that? I think I'm.
Yeah.
Okay. What information regarding open source should be? I mean, I wonder if would we say like this, but what information should be provided? Right? Does that sound? Does that work?
Yeah, I guess that's fine.
Okay. Well, that's Actually, I think that can just go. So then we'll go. This section explains the specific information that must be distributed. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of. What if I said this, like, explains what kinds of information?
Yeah.
May
Okay, I guess I would leave that in general and take out that next sentence, because if I'm delivering some software that other people are going to just pick up and download, I am not going to communicate with every recipient company.
Nope. There you go.
Yeah, thanks.
When no open source is included. Don't really like that one, but
well, I kind of do. We do have customers who, we do have some products where they do not use open source. And so they ask us to do scans to verify that no open source is being used.
Okay. Could I say it this way?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, this, I think they kind of overdo the license change problems, but I almost thinking let's get rid of that. It should just be if you say the license, we're assuming you're gonna give us the current info.
Okay.
Name and version of each. So I would say for this one, the must is the copyright line and the license, right? Um, and then the should part is like identifying the open source and the name and version, right? Um,
Um, yeah, the name and version. So the part about the download location,
mhm,
um, that's starting to show up as more and more important as kind of an unequivocal identifier.
mhm.
Yeah, I think that looks good.
Can I put should here if we're gonna kind of mix the both required legal requirement and the best practices?
I suppose it should carries the weight of a requirement, right? Because you have to identify the software. That's
Yeah.
part of the license, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say strictly speaking, you need to provide the copy of the copyright line and the license below it. But that doesn't mean you have to say, oh, this is from OpenSSL or something like that, right? The license itself doesn't go that far. Um,
Okay.
but if we kind of want to go this way, we could say it like this, at a baseline, you must identify the software and its license, and then, but like, rotate. I'm just gonna throw out something like um, use of this information. Let's see. Additional information, however, makes it easier for and use of more efficient for you. All right. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Let's provide the source code or offer a download location. I don't know. Is that too?
Yeah, I don't know what the specific requirement is.
Yeah.
If you give a link, is that sufficient? I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Okay. And I'm going to say, let's see.
I think that can go.
Content. Or information. Oh.
So there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Got pretty quiet.
I was just thinking for a sec. I think that's good. I was kind of debating whether to dig up the GPL v3 license and make sure we're using the right language.
But that sentence there, for example, version 3 of the GPL LGPL3.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that redundant?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Good point. Good catch there. I'm going to just check on that one and just make sure that's, I think that's right, but I just haven't.
Okay.
Let's see, but I will do that later here. Okay. Information must be distributed with open source. Oh, we're kind of repeating ourselves here a little bit.
Yeah, it is redundant. So is that whole section redundant?
Yeah, I kind of like the bullet point form though. I'm gonna channel Shane and I'm gonna say like he said repetition is good in some things.
Okay. Well, maybe we just merge it into the next section or the previous section, and instead of having a separate one and say to summarize the following information, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, list of open source components. I don't need this governing license part. Um, let me suggest this because I think there's that same issue with what's must versus should. And I like your SBOM concept there. I think we should bring it up right here.
Okay.
Practice is to provide this information in a software bill of materials SBOM along with additional information for clients. This may include should I refer to SPDX here? Is that
You can make mention of it, yeah, sure. Especially since they're our sister group.
leading SBOM format is provided PBX project. Information. I think this one should go into the must.
Mm-hmm.
What if because this is another must too, right?
Yeah, we're not trying to cover all the possible weird angles of open source here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, that's why I think some of it might be too detailed, like this about including scripts for generation of executables.
Yeah.
Mm.
Good. Needed for doing. Does that sound okay?
Well, I wouldn't put that detail at all. I mean,
Okay.
I wouldn't, because then you get to, well, here I need this, but someplace else I need this, and you know,
Okay.
that's why I suggested taking that whole thing out. Oh, the second bullet below, first bullet, sorry. The first bullet ends with a closed parenthesis, a dangling closed parenthesis. Yeah, that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Got it.
It won't compile, dude.
Yeah. Okay. There's two, it was a double parenthetical here. So
Yeah.
detail and stuff version origin. So let's get rid of that then. Switch.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Does this? I don't know if the secondary one is open source within open source, right?
Mhm.
I think that's like a really complicated way of saying that, though. I wonder if there's like a.
I don't know. I was okay. I understood that.
How about could I suggest this? That if your source components is yeah, I was gonna say something like a dependency, you need to include that. Yeah, maybe I can't think of a better way to say it right there, but
Okay.
oh, it looks like I have used up an extra minute of the time at the end of the session here. I think the only thing I wanted to say here was like sometimes your SPDX, customers might have certain requirements for SBOMs. Right? Because like if I want your SBOM to go right into my system, we might want you to format it a certain way, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the main point. Right, I think we made it through this.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like we're close to the end.
Yeah, so applause to us. So thank you very much. So, and then I got your notes here, so I will mention those. So, all right. Well,
Okay.
hope you have a good day. So,
Okay. Thanks, Nathan.
okay, thank you.
I think we got through a lot.
We
Okay.
did. Okay.
Have a great long weekend too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So thank you.
Yeah.
You too as well. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.